It is Levack and Goz, and I just felt really loud all of a sudden. Um, I don't even know where I am anymore. I don't know. I'm in Georgia. That's where I am. I'm in Columbus, Georgia, my friend. And you guys, you appear to be in. Are you actually in your home?
I'm in my home. That's right.
Uh,
Wonderful capital region area.
Aha. I don't know if that's something everywhere, but I just been drinking it. We had a big press conference today, man. I'm ready. Like I'm fired up. I've been handling media down here, pretty much straight through, doing what I got to do, handling the business of arena football here in the Empire of the South. That's one of the nicknames that Georgia had received at one point. It's true.
Who started giving that nickname? Is that from the back in the 1800s, or just because of your
It's a
presence
while
they've
back.
adopted
It's a
it?
while back.
Okay.
There was a point where um, I guess they thought that the industry down here would rival that of New York, or at least mimic it. However, I feel like the industry down here was slightly different than that of New York at that time, and maybe not nearly as much to be proud of. All right, so but it is we are proud here in Columbus. We had our big press conference today. We unveiled the new logo, as you can see right there.
Ooh, look at
New logo,
that.
very cool. And also we introduced everybody to the new head coach of the Columbus Lions. You will remember him if you are an Empire fan. He was our defensive backs coach, Chris McKinney. So CMAC and Levack down here in Georgia, about to run it back and get a title for this team and take it away from the other team. That's what we're
I
going
have
to do.
I have so many questions for you, Levack. It's going to feel like an old pregame show from this past summer about the stuff you just told me there. All right, let's start with the logo for NAL fans, for Capital Region sports fans, everybody who follows the league in your new role here with the Lions. So the new logo that was being worked on before you got there, was that a first impression day one thing for you that you wanted changed?
No, this was already done. Because actually, like I took one look at it. I didn't look at it yet. They told me they came up with a new logo, and I instantly went, "Do you realize how expensive that's going to be? Because you got to put it on everything. Like you got to get new logos everywhere." And then I saw it. I was like, "Okay, we got to do that. That's got to be done. That's got to be a thing." Um, so no, I was not me. I'm just glad that it's done because I really like it.
Okay, so that is not you. Let's talk about the hiring of Coach McKinney here on Albany Empire Connection. I've been stirring it up since they won the championship, the Empire, about Coach Damon Ware and every assistant. And since you announced your move of going to Columbus, of if you're going to poach somebody from the Empire franchise, tell us as much or as little as you'd like to about Coach McKinney now wearing some new uniforms, brand new, fresh unis for 2023 on the sidelines behind the boards.
Well, I love Damon Ware. Coach Ware is amazing. He should have won Assistant Coach of the Year. Um, very, very good coach, very good guy. Um, I I know for a fact that if I tried to poach him from head coach Tom Menas, he would drive down here and fight me. So, I don't want to hurt the old fella. So I decided to not do it. No, CMAC makes so much sense on so many levels. He's from this area. He's been living in Atlanta or just outside of Atlanta for a very long time now. He has been a coach at every level. He's been a head coach at multiple places. He's been an offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach, special teams coordinator, defensive backs coach. He's done it all. And it also, and just like kind of a small world variety, when we brought him up to one of the other owners of the team, Casey Smith, Casey's eyes lit up because Casey and he had worked together before. Like Casey had hired McKinney as a coach, but then CMAC got the opportunity to go coach with the Philadelphia Soul, so it didn't come together. But then in the Extreme Football League, it was a different XFL. McKinney won Coach of the Year, so there's actually a picture from like 10 years ago of Casey Smith handing him a trophy. So they reenacted the picture today, so it's like a 10-year difference of the two of them, and they both still look better than me in both pictures. So there's a lot of places where it worked. And to be perfectly honest with you, with Jason Gibson being the only head coach the Lions have ever known, I felt like we needed the kind of person who would both be hungry to win, but also be patient with people who are going to be like, well, you're not the coach that we're used to and stuff like that. And McKinney, checked every single box. So luckily we were able to get him. And he was out here today. He's still doing some stuff back at home. and then he'll be back and forth from here, and and then he'll be down here, and we'll get it going.
Ooh, so for those who haven't caught the weekend podcast, you are still down there for a few more days. So even though there's a new logo,
Mm-hmm.
even though there's a new head coach,
Mm-hmm.
even though there's a new owner,
Mm-hmm.
more work still left to be done for you down in the Peach State.
We're just getting started. I mean, there's a lot going on. Again, Jason Gibson did a lot here. So when he left for Jacksonville, Josh Blair and Casey Smith and all the great people in the office, they kind of looked around and went, all right, who's going to come and pick up some of the slack with us here? Like, we got this, but we need a little help. And so, I'm in there trying to help out best I can. Biggest thing I'm doing right now is just meeting people. This is like a community run team, I got to meet Miss Pat yesterday. I took her out to dinner, and Miss Pat she's a fan who became like basically the team seamstress. Like, she'll sew the nameplates on, she'll fix the jerseys, all that stuff. Like, it's the community is rallied around this team, and I think the most important thing that I can do right now is get to know everybody, so that when I represent the Columbus Lions, I accurately represent them. Because we all know I have a tendency to have a little fun and get after it a little bit. So I just want to make sure that as I do those things, I do them in a way that the fan base of Columbus Lions will not be like, "Hey, fat boy, calm down." They're all very polite.
No, but you're already off to a good start, because the Miss Pat reference is a very Southern culture thing that I'm very intrigued, I think is the word I'll use there, by that, because it is so often used in the South. Like, Nick Saban's wife is Miss Terry. And I think a lot of college football fans know that reference to Miss Terry. They think it might just be because of Nick Saban. No, that's like it's so common in the South to use that Miss prefix on female adults' names that people in the South don't even think twice about it. But even you saying it, I'm like, oh, he's getting it. Like, this is a part of the culture. Yeah.
She introduced herself to me as Pat. And I had already talked to our director of football operations, Alan Meek, and he had said, "Oh, Miss Pat, look, you'll love Miss Pat." So as soon as she goes, "Yeah, it's Pat," I go, "Is it Pat or is it Miss Pat?" And she starts laughing. She goes, "Most people call me Miss Pat." I go, "Then I will call you Miss Pat." So, so that's yeah. It's it's so many great people. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of like, you don't want to you want to walk into a room and just kind of be by yourself and do some stuff, and then you start talking to people, and they recognize from a couple of news stations and stuff like that, and they're like, they want to talk Lions. So that's what we get into. You can't help but be wrapped into it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So and just to pull back a little bit from the National Arena League side, there's only one opening left.
Right.
That's Orlando.
Correct.
Coach Resignalo, who was formerly with the Carolina Cobras, announced via social media earlier this week he's no longer with the franchise. So there's one vacancy still left, one really good coach out there. And we know how there's different levels of football. Coaches can bounce around. That's just a part of it. Just like any professional football league, people can move around. That's totally it. And then the free agency period, we're still a ways away from, like, not next week or later this fall. We're 2023 before rosters can start shifting.
November 1st.
November 1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every team has the ability to negotiate with their current roster exclusively until November 1st. So yeah, so it's clipping along. It's coming. So we were lucky today for the press conference. DeAndre Brown came out. It was good to see him. And it's weird because if it's a different scenario right now, I'm not even allowed to say that name. But now I can, because it's Lions organization. So that's just funny. Like, and then, like, all of our all the former Empire guys were reaching out and congratulating, Coach McKinney, and he's like looking at me, and he's like, so like each one, he's like showing me. He's like, "Okay, I'm just writing thank you." I'm like, "Okay, validate, whatever," because you can't tamper. You gotta be careful, and all of our guys are jokesters. So, I could see one of our guys going on my way, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, I got to sit in front of Commissioner Siegfried and get slapped in the wrist with a ruler. So yeah, it's different. It's definitely a different thing, but it's good. And we got a lot of great players here that we're going to do our best to keep them all. And then, November 1st, we starts the poaching.
Nothing would make me more satisfied if somehow you got a letter from Commissioner Siegfried that you didn't get a fine, just like in writing, we've noticed on the most recent Levack and Goz show from Godzilla Media that you said the following. Just send me the picture of the notice, and that would make me very happy.
No, because see, here's the beauty of this, right? And I'm very cautious of these things because remember, I'm part of an ownership group, right? So the ownership group that I am part of and represent in Columbus is also majority owners of the Albany Empire, majority owners of the Orlando Predators. So the way that I do my job the best is to not touch rosters. I don't have anything to do with player personnel. Coach McKinney is going to handle player personnel. It's his job, just like Coach Manas handled player personnel in Albany. And that way, I can never tamper. I can be interviewed by every podcast under the sun. I can do this crappy show. And no matter what I say, since I don't handle rosters, I am not tampering.
No,
That's what I say. That's what I believe.
Fine.
That's what I say.
All right.
We'll see if that's a thing.
All right. You are in Georgia. If you just stopped in, you're watching this now. Levack and Goz. Don't forget programming note, too. We mentioned this on the Hooters show this past weekend. This Thursday, we are not going to be at Mohawk Honda. Next Thursday, we're at Mohawk Honda. So next Thursday, Levack will be back in the Capital Region. We'll be broadcasting live from Glenville, New York, Mohawk Honda, where you can get your new vehicle this fall. Love talking to people all week long, man. I feel like my phone's been blown up at Mohawk Honda, which is awesome. For people from all over the place, from Utica to Syracuse to Watertown and more. Hey, guys, Mohawk Honda still has great vehicles, right? I'm like, yes, nothing changed from the summer, man. 2023s are on the way. You get a great price on 2022s. That supply chain is still in that weird spot. Take advantage of it. Trade in your previous vehicle and get a new ride, money in your pocket, more. We are so excited to be back in Mohawk Honda for a live show. Always have so much fun with everybody there, getting their sports picks, talking sports with them, and more. Excited to be back. Shout out to the Harrington family. Shout out to Greg Johnson, who feels like he's been in like 5 of the biggest sporting events this year. I believe he's been to the Masters, an SEC tailgate, the national championship in March. Hopefully we'll get him for like 3 minutes to figure out exactly where he's been since we've last seen him. But if you need a new vehicle, Mohawk Honda is a spot. I've been putting off my oil change. Hopefully, after I take a road trip to Cortland this weekend, I will.
Yeah, I want to get back.
Yeah, I got to take care of that. Shout out to John and Service and more. Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you.
It was so my hotel is right next to a Chevrolet dealer. Like it's like if you look here, let me see if I can do this. If you look out the murder suite, can you see it over there? So
It's a murder suite because you're on the first floor.
I'm on the first floor and I have a sliding glass door that opens. So it's a murder suite. So that's Son's Chevrolet. Okay.
Boo. Boo.
No.
Okay.
I think what I want to do is I want to get a hold of our good friends at Mohawk, Andy Gelcher, Jeff Harridan, and I want to try to open one right next door. And I want to call it like Mohawk and. So everybody will think it's one dealership. Mohawk and Sons. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I think that'd
do.
be brilliant. Dude, my truck is like the star of this trip. So like everybody when I like I'll pull up and I'll probably like, wow, where'd you rent that? I'm like, no, I drove down. You know, first and then they like look at me like I'm a total freaking moron for driving all the way from Albany. And then they just start talking about the truck. And I'm like, how can you love the truck so much and not understand why I would drive it, you know, for 16 hours? But it's definitely been the like I like the color, I like this, I like that. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm pretty classy. And Andy Gelcher told me to drive it, so that's what I'm doing the right thing.
You needed a vehicle like that for 20 hours, right? Was it the final total? 20, 22?
About 20, yeah. It was
Yeah.
I think it was like 20 and change. But it was but like about 4 hours of that was sleeping in the back of it. So, you know, it was nice. It was weird. It got to the point where I started babbling to myself, but you know, that kind of happens anyway. So at least there was a reason.
Oh
for a
man,
change.
I miss those road trip finales with you.
God. I was thinking about that. So like I was about 2.5 hours into my drive and I wasn't even in like Pennsylvania yet. And I started thinking about like that was like the rides back from things when we get to that like 2 hour mark where I would just start babbling. I would just start going. And I was like, oh, I should call Goz.
Next road trip we do together, whatever it is, maybe it'll be something in March Madness. Maybe it'll be, I wish it was the Super Bowl. Things are in motion. Unfortunately, I will not be part of the radio coverage in person with you this year with baby number 2 on the way. But
don't make up stories. Just
what stories?
There's no baby. It's not yours, at least.
There's baby on the way. Yes, there is.
You're just afraid to go. You're just afraid, you know. You can't handle it anymore.
If you're a fan of
You love that radio company that we work for. That's what you're scared without them.
what are you even talking about? They had the child. It's actually their kid.
No, I'm saying like you're just making up excuses.
Contract.
Since we're not being, sent by a radio station, you're making excuses now. That's what it is.
You're going once I get the pass confirmed.
Yeah, are you going to pay for my trip?
We'll see how Godzilla Media is doing at that point. Could be a business expense.
That's a no.
See how like cryptocurrency's going. Anyways, YouTube side, social media side, wherever you're watching this, if you're listening to replay on demand audience, Apple side especially too, leave comments on how you felt about week one. We will get to those comments as well. I feel like we got to start with the New York teams because all three New York teams are all over the place. So we'll get to your favorite team as well. We'll do a little bit of a variation of our rapid reaction we did last year. Levack, let's start with the Bills because they're the team that's furthest away at this point, but we are live under the orange roof at Hooters for Bills Rams. We watched basically every play of that game together. Let's start with Buffalo. I feel like if we did power rankings, they would be the number one team in the NFL.
I mean, it'd be hard to go against them. And it's rare that you get those moments where teams live up to the hype of what you thought they were going to be. But the Bills did. You saw a slower start in the first half than what you got in the second half. But I feel like that was pretty much the theme of the entire weekend. Every team started slow. And, some announcers would make the point of if you don't practice in the preseason, if you don't play, all these things, this is what it's going to look like. I got to be honest with you. As long as the second half happens the way it's been happening and everything, and next week looks good, it doesn't bother me that much. But the Bills look good. And Josh Allen is a beast. Like the physicality that he showed on that Rams defense is disturbingly frightening.
Everything you needed. You mentioned Josh Allen right there. He can move in the pocket. If you're really nitpicking if you're a Bill fan, but if you had to take one negative, you might scream, stop running. Like you can run out of bounds, Josh. You and I were yelling at each other one play. We're like, what are you doing? It's the third play of the game. You're trying to run somebody over. The third play of the game. But that's also why he's so endearing to Bills fans when he has those types of efforts. When you have 4 turnovers, and they were bad turnovers too. They were legitimate turnovers, and you're on the road against the Super Bowl champion. You should probably have that be a 1-score game with under 5 to play, with a really good coach like McVay and Stafford and just the Rams. Buffalo's defensive line dominated. Von Miller in particular. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt. Even 10 years into this thing, he is just as good as a pass rusher as he was before. The running attack was good enough, and that's probably all it needs to be this season. Diggs showed why he's a top 10 receiver. We've already mentioned Josh Allen. They were the most balanced team. Offense, defense. We could criticize special teams and say they didn't have the best punter they drafted because they cut him out because he was an idiot. But they didn't have to punt. His value is not worth it with this team. If you are a Bills fan, you can get even more excited than when you were past week one because it is hard to find anything that is a true weakness to this team and why maybe throughout the entire season they are going to be considered the top dog and why so many people pick them in the preseason to win the Super Bowl overall in February.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason that you're going to change that now. I see more people jumping on that bandwagon than off. So, yeah, I'm with you. And Bills look good. Look really good.
The Jets stink. The Jets not so much.
It's so weird. I guess we expected more from them, but didn't we kind of know that they weren't right? Didn't we kind of know that Flacco wasn't going to be great? If you want to point out that they let Flacco throw the ball 59 times, I'll go ahead. Yeah, that's weird. That's a cautionary tale in and of itself.
It's not elite.
Yeah, it's not an elite game plan. Not how I would have drawn it up. Couple things that happened in there. The guys didn't step up the way you'd expected to. Things like that. But the thing I'm hearing them get the most criticism for right now is big game Bob Saleh saying we're keeping receipts. Like everybody's losing their mind on the guy because he said flat out, basically talk smack, get smacked. Like I don't have a problem with it. I think it's funny to me. Like I heard Keyshawn Johnson and everybody talking about how it's not the way coaches should act and everything. I know a lot of players that would respect the hell out of that. Yeah, coach, tell them that they better stick with us now because we're going to get them. I mean, think about all the times, Coach Manas and I, would turn the phrase of careful you don't hurt yourself kicking us while we're down because you're going to need to run when we get up. And like, that was our guys loved it. So I just think it's funny that that's what we're going to. Not the fact that, you know, you you threw the ball almost 60 times with a quarterback that's so far over the hill, he's almost under it. You that we're mad because he said he's keeping receipts.
I consider Keyshawn a New York media member. I know he's a national media member, and he's got the more California ties through his career as a media member than New York. But why does like the New York media not like coaches like that and athletes like that? Like it's had a little connection here to Jeter back at the captain. Like everyone's like, we wish Jeter talked more. We wish no, you actually didn't. Like because you're all gonna rip him apart when he did it.
That's why they wanted to talk more.
Right.
They could rip him apart.
The evil intent of it, because Saleh having those quotes at the end of the game, very Rex Ryan like. Now, even that comparison to Rex, you could have two reactions to that. Yeah, oh, remember Rex? He sucked. He was the worst. Remember his nonsense. That could be one reaction. The other reaction could say, oh, you mean the most successful Jets coach they've had the last 30 years? Oh, the guy who got you to back-to-back AFC title games, he talked and ran his mouth and said they were going to the Super Bowl, but they saw production and his players loved him. You can take that however you want to take it. I lean towards the second one. That if Robert Saleh, who's running stairs and is a madman on defense and he's calling these plays and those videos that go back to the draft where everyone was so fired up to be a part of the Jets, which Jets fans loved it, the whole thing. They just are not good enough to beat Baltimore with a backup quarterback. I get Flacco's ties, the Super Bowl, everything else, but super young team. Baltimore, who, that's my pick to win it all coming out of the AFC. Right. I think they're going to be the Super Bowl champions. So if the Jets lost by 6, does New York fans think that's a better way to lose? They're just not good enough. And Baltimore the defense was fine for New York. Baltimore had its hiccups here and there, but they're just not going to beat them with a backup quarterback, rookie running backs, and not a stud wide receiver number 1. It's just not going to happen unless Baltimore screwed it up, and they didn't.
Yeah, and again, like I like that you brought up. I mean, you picked Baltimore to win the whole damn thing. So I'm not that emboldened by them, but at the same time, here's a team that we thought would potentially compete for a championship, if not win it, going up against a team that we all know has a long way to go with a backup quarterback. Oh, the Jets are terrible. Oh, okay. Now what happens next week when they actually play well? Will everybody jump right back in? We'll see. But I think, not a great game plan at all. If you want to be mad at the game plan, go for it. But again, it's the Jets, and they got a long way to go. Here's
my first overreaction hot take. Goz putting labels on wins here for the first post NFL Week show. The New York Giants win is the best win since you and I have hosted together on Levack and Goz. So September of 2016, that is the best New York Giants win. I know there's a playoff season in between there, so maybe the tail end of 2017 to get in, something like there, we can make the argument. But that Love Boat, weird cruise ship photo with Trey Songz, that win is the most recent, memorable, culture-changing, any other cliche you want to toss out there. To me, that's the biggest win the Giants franchise have had since this show has been in existence now about 6 years.
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong yet. I'm going to reserve the right to tell you you're wrong because you threw the term culture changing in. I want to see what happens next because I would say that emotionally speaking, more people were gung-ho about the Tampa Bay win when we were on the way home from the bus to the Bronx because Daniel Jones ran the ball, Saquon Barkley played well. Everybody thought Tampa would beat them. It was like one of those things. And remember, everybody on that bus was watching on their phones. There was a bunch of Giants fans on the bus watching on their phones, and everybody had a different provider. So everybody was getting information at a different time. So it's like a cascading of, oh, and a cascading of, yay, the entire, and then usually like somehow Goz again had the worst Wi-Fi or whatever. And then Goz would go, oh, like a minute later. So if there are echoes of this game in their performances moving forward, I will say you're right. But if they go out and just get, mollywopped the next game, I'm going to tell you that it's no different than the Tampa Bay game at best.
Did you mention that Tampa Bay game and that Tennessee game ended the same way? Both on missed kicks by the opposing team's kicker.
I didn't mention it, but it is interesting. But like, the aspects of it, right? So the reason that the Tampa Bay game was so exciting is, again, Daniel Jones played very well. Saquon Barkley played very well. The reason this game is in the category, whether or not it wins or not, well, like I said, is going to be decided by how they play moving forward. Was going for 2 points. It was watching Brian Dable go over and just light up Daniel Jones on the sideline. Like, those kind of things were exciting. Like, Brian Dable is in this thing to win it. He's not. He's not. What is it? Like Conor McGregor. I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over. Like, he's in and he wants to win. So I like it a lot. I like what he's got going on, and he's definitely endeared himself to Giants fans. Can he keep it up? Is the question now.
It's a great comparison. That and the Tampa game. The difference is Brian Dable, like you just mentioned, going for 2, a hole behind the players. Everything with that is super important. It didn't feel cheesy. The locker room celebration, all of that. You mentioned Daniel Jones lighting into him. He needed it because he sucked until what? Later in the game?
Right.
That's the difference. It is, you're right, very like marginally inches close of the difference between those two games. I feel different about this Giants team because I feel like Dable is a better coach. We'll find out. We'll find out if that take's going to be right or not.
All right, so you got the Panthers, Cowboys without Dak Prescott, and Bears coming up. What do they have to do? I mean, do you believe in them for all 3 of those games now? No spreads, just looking at them.
You beat me to that. I was going to say 4-0.
Yeah,
right. Like, they're probably going to be
3-1, right?
They're going to be favored in a divisional game against Dallas, I would believe. Chicago, John Danielle, I know you're out here. We'll get your Bears, John Danielle. I know you got a few comments about Chicago out there. They're going to be the worst team in the NFL. I still feel like that even after their performance in the sloppy Soldier Field. And Carolina was down big early in that game. It is not crazy to talk about the New York Giants going for what happened? The Giants are, in fact, I've been ripping them all summer. How they stink. Daniel Jones is awful. He's getting cut from the team. They might have to trade Saquon. They have no receivers. And they go from going for 2 and beating the top. Let's remember this. The number 1 team in the AFC last season. They beat them. Unbelievable. There goes my survivor pick.
They're crap though. I will say this though. Will everybody flip on them if they lose this next week? Because I do think part of it is the fact that they were able to get the W. Meanwhile, the Jets, who should be farther along in the rebuild, lose an ugly game. So it's like, it's exciting to the point, like our good friend Mike Corda, owner of Tech East Fire and Water Restoration here. Best way back to normal. Visit him online, tefirewater.com. Sends me a text. The Bills won. The Giants won. Buccaneers are going to win later. Like, he was talking smack. He goes, what happened to Levack's Raiders? And it's like, you know what, dude? That's just not. It's uncalled for. It's just uncalled for. You're only talking smack because I'm so far away. But I'll see you in Orlando, son.
All right, let's get to the Raiders. Let's get to the Bears. Let's get to some other teams. But before we do all that, let's give love to our friends over at DraftKings. If you're an NFL football fan, DraftKings is continuing to be on your side this football season. The NFL's opening week was action-packed, and it's just getting started. Get ready for week 2 of touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on any football game and get $200 in free bets instantly. Want more action? Everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. This Sunday, bet on any NFL team to win. If your team leads by 10 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code 518 to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code 518 only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for more details.
Yes. So hold on a second. I got to do this real quick. So somebody I met with over my little tour, you may be asking yourself, Jeff, if you drove down to Georgia to work, why are you in your hotel by 4:30 on a Tuesday? And I'll tell you that I was possibly exposed to COVID-19 in one of my meetings yesterday. So I rushed back here just to make sure, just to do the right thing, and I just found out I'm not. I got nothing to worry about. So, so screw you guys. I'm out. No, but it was one of those ones where like I get like this like I really enjoyed meeting you and thank you so much for everything and we're gonna have so much fun down here and we look forward to winning, as you said, rings here in Columbus and blah. But and I was like, oh no, not a butt. No, I don't need a butt. And I just put my hand in something slimy on the bottom of this chair. So I'm having a rough couple seconds here, guys. What's the next game?
So we did rap reaction last year to do all the NFL recaps, all that stuff. We might keep doing this. We kind of liked it. It wasn't very rapid last year. We kind of went with a different pace. We might keep this segment. We might trash it halfway through the season. I don't know, but I kind of like where it is. Let's start with the Saints and the Falcons. Anything to take away from this game involving the two NFC South teams?
I think the Falcons. I think Smith might be a better coach right now at this exact second than Dennis Allen. I think the talent is definitely on the side of the Saints, and they were able to get that W, and that's really all that technically matters. But the Falcons were in that game straight through, and there were points where I thought they were going to go ahead and just take the dang thing. So I thought Smith was going to be a guy to get this team where they had to be at some point. I didn't think it would be this soon, but I got the impression the Falcons are going to be the kind of team that's going to give people fits this year, and the Saints may lose some tough ones that we don't expect them to.
Atlanta's going to put up some numbers at some points, especially Mariota and Drake London. Cordero Patterson was not a flash in the pan. I find Jameis Winston, I know it's so weird to say this, as a former player on your team within the division, I still like him so much. Like I find him entertaining with the post-game stuff and the pain and talking about his body. Michael Thomas, is he back? Yes. Michael Thomas, unlike Texas football, is back. So they played great. Here's what I'm going to mark right now. Everybody should do this. We just talked about DraftKings. Never bet on the Falcons ever again. Never. Like,
really?
You want to talk about like
ever?
Cursed? They were up 2 touchdowns. Super Bowl. They blow it. Like cursed franchises.
You would have wanted to bet on them though, because they had they
covered.
Yeah, they covered.
I bet a money line, which is maybe that's my goal. No longer money line the Falcons. That's I'll parentheses that.
What's the nicest way about you, dummy?
Also, before we get to that game, let's get to our pal Jay here. Jay Larkin wrote, Jets fans in the marketplace media do not possess the ability to act like they've been there before for obvious reasons.
But you're not there now. Like you are acting like you've been there before. You act like you've been bad before and are still.
You know what, Jay? The semester just started over at Schenectady Community College. Where's our invite? Where's our invite? You've been telling us for years. Where's our invite?
I know why, Jay. Jay's sampling the, he's doing some early testing, I think. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
Levack and Goz beer, Jay. Come on down. You've been telling us for years. I'm on the Facebook now. How about that?
Huh? Now mine could be like a Southern lager now. No, mine could, mine could have peach flavor to it after being in Georgia. I'm ready. He goes next week. I'll be back. I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. Jay Larkin, you hit me up on social. Yeah. Now, yeah. Monday or Wednesday next week. Oh, sure. All right. You have our information. We'll see. Yeah. 19-10. By the way, I'd like to do that. I'm just kidding. Seriously, let's make some beer. John Danielle, go Bears. Levack, it was my upset special. 19-10. Chicago did it. They defeated San Francisco. Arguably the biggest upset of week one, the most surprising team of week one. John Danielle pounding some Miller Lights, watching his Bears win it.
It's weird though, because I want good things for Justin Fields. I feel like he has been kind of written off unfairly already, simply because he's with the Bears. So I like seeing him get good things. I do think you need to point out how terrible the weather was. I think you got to put out the home field advantage, all these things. Like, it's all part of it. But most importantly, screw John Danielle. Most importantly, I don't ever want the Bears to win anything because of John Danielle. I want, his miserable Bears life there. Don't you heart me. Don't you heart me. Just that's it. Like it was weird because I was watching, like, the Bears players were sliding on the wet turf and the wet tarps and everything, like celebrating and having fun. And I was like, that's really cool. And then I thought of the joy that John Danielle probably felt right at that exact moment, just stewing in his hot tub with Miller Lights and cigarette butts. And I was like, I just didn't want to see his happiness anymore. I just didn't. I could see it.
For our audio audience, John just wrote excuses, hearts, crying, laughing emoji faces. I am so proud of that call by me. For 18
Yeah.
weeks of now the NFL, I don't know if I'm going to have a
Well,
better call.
and you did it before we knew about the weather too. Because once the weather came through, you can verify that I was talking about the under, and that I was kind of considering the Bears. But at the same time, you called it before the weather, so you thought they were the better team all along, which is a really really strong pull on your part.
Yeah, I appreciate, John, your Bears making me look good on that one, by the way. And Jay wants to get in a plug for you, Levack. There you go. Terrapin Brewing in Tennessee.
But I'm in. How far are they from me? I'm in Columbus, Georgia, and then I'm going to Orlando, Florida. I don't like. Is this a hop, skip, and a jump situation? I'm not the best in geography, but I don't feel like that's going to help me out here.
The combination of Jay and John Danielle together, they've been together at the Hideaway before, so I love combining those two together. It's awesome, man. So back to John Danielle's point there in his Bears, right? Like,
Just here you go. This is what I'm going to do for Jay Larkin. Yeah, Jay, let's get some of that fine brewed beer. Fine brewed.
One in Athens. There you go. One in Athens, Georgia. As good as a win that is for Chicago, new head coach, Justin Fields needed the confidence boost, all that stuff. They're still not good. You know, like we gave a lot of love to the Giants, and they really have a chance to go 4-0. The Bears still aren't very good, but that's a huge win against San Francisco. They got a ways to go before that team is going to be talked about as a true contender in the North. They got a ways to go. It's way more about San Francisco, that game, for me, the takeaway from that week 1 loss. Mike McDaniel, who we're going to get to with his performance for the Miami Dolphins, former OC, play caller, whatever you want to say his role was in San Francisco, nerd, Ivy League boy.
Nerd.
He's in Miami away from Kyle Shanahan. The Garoppolo, Trey Lance stuff jumped out to everybody. Elijah, whatever he wants to go by, Mitchell, the running back for the 49ers, gets hurt. Deebo Samuel can't be the type of Deebo Samuel we know him to be with that weird conditions. I'll stick by it.
He did man up at one point.
Yes, he did. He Deebo'd up, you know.
Yeah,
he just did grown man stuff he was doing. Trey Lance isn't good. Like, they got some concerns. He did not seem like this fantasy superstar everybody hyped him up to be. I'm way more concerned if I'm a Niner fan than any other. Yeah, I think I'd go probably the Titans and the Niners, the most concerned fan base after week 1, and Dallas for a different reason because of injury, though.
All right, so just to point out your stat lines here to back you up, Trey Lance, 13 for 28, 164 yards, 1 interception, sacked twice. He did run 13 times for 54 yards. Now Justin Fields, 8 for 17, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked twice, and he ran 11 times for 28 yards. Welcome to the toilet bowl, kids. Welcome to the toilet bowl.
You're not running again.
Did you see this? So you started saying that you picked the Bears, John Danielle. That's why you're my favorite. And then you said they sucked, and now you're not. He's very fickle. The only things we know he loves are cigarettes and Miller Lights. Everything else is easily transferred. He'll start crying about the Bears at some point, but those two things he will love forever.
Is this the best game of the NFL season? Here's my second hot take out of the gates after week 1 overreaction. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, overtime winning field goal for the Steelers, 23-20. What the hell happened in this game? Oh, Scott Hansen, I thought was just going to drop dead right there in the red zone studio. Just 4 hours of that nonsense. He was going to lose it. Can we do anything with the nonsense that was that AFC North battle?
I think the one. So here's the point we made earlier. I think has to be brought up before I say exactly what I really really think, and that's the fact that offensive line, as talented as it is, hadn't played together. So maybe a little bit here and there. So when like the first play of the game happens and Burrow's getting just slapped like right away, you kind of felt like it was going to be a problem. It was the same old 7 sacks. Burrow was sacked 7 times. Still threw for 338 yards, but he threw 4 interceptions too. I mean, he was getting annihilated almost the entire game. It felt like it felt like they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and then Najee Harris gets banged up. Like, this is, I think one of my points earlier is pretty much dead on. These two teams ain't winning the North. They are not winning the North. The Bengals line needs to figure it out. They ain't got that done yet. Defense didn't play well enough. The Steelers manned up, but they're banged up already, and their quarterback situation is a little too volatile for me.
Yep, I'll start the Steelers thing. It's especially tough now with the NFL that it feels like every franchise and coach is just lying about injuries more than ever before. With Najee Harris getting banged up, Watt getting hurt. I don't know what I'm going to do with Pittsburgh. I know Mike Tomlin is phenomenal, but you just can't do this every single year where star players have to go to the sidelines. Nobody at the professional level is built for something like that in a super competitive division. So great win for Pittsburgh. They should have lost the game because Cincinnati gave them every opportunity to win that game and they didn't capitalize on it. Joe Burrow, I mentioned the red zone reference there with Scott Hansen. This is summed up as a red zone game because 45 minutes, 145 on a Sunday. And look, I'll have this conversation with him tomorrow, Chet Davis on We Talk Fantasy. Chet from CBS 6 is just killing Joe Burrow. Horrible pick for fantasy. I already regret it. He's the bum of the season. Alike. They kind of do. But it's just burying Joe Burrow.
Fish? You just see something similar and he wants to fight it?
We're going to start seeing him smoking cigars during the 6 a.m. newscast all of a sudden. But he came back. He played well. Jamar Chase is unreal. He had a catch that didn't count. He inches away from scoring a touchdown earlier. They're an extra point and they're a long snapper away from hitting that extra point and winning the game. We'll do the concern thing. I'm way more concerned about Pittsburgh than Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh won that game. But Bengal fans, you've been through worse. That's still a really good roster, it feels like. Just got to block.
I know you said that we forgot to do our locks. This was a lock for me. I had the Steelers. I just want to read my notes to you, and you tell me how I did. Love the Steelers plus 6.5 here. Bengals were the king of the 3-point game last season. That won't change. Tomlin will grind this game to sand. By the way, final score.
You want to talk about we both nailed it because you hit that. And remember what I said? I said there is no game I'm less confident in wagering because something weird's going to happen in Pittsburgh, Cincinnati.
But I told you it was going to be a 3-point game, and I told you Tomlin was just going to grind it into the dirt. And listen, man, I feel pretty good.
Nailed it.
Apparently, Jay Larkin is a Steelers fan. We're gonna ride it out, 8-1 record, and keep Tomlin's streak intact. Tomlin's he's never had a losing season, I believe. Correct?
That's right. Eagles, Lions. This one I said Detroit would cover, but lose by 3 in heartbreaking fashion. You can check the tape from the Hooters show. Guess what the hell happened? Detroit lost by 3, heartbreaking fashion. Game on the line. It feels like for this one, though, Levack, back to rosters. Philadelphia's solid offense, defense. Hurts has got to throw the ball better. In Detroit, Goff played better in the second half, but he's not going to win you games when it matters the most in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I liked Detroit because of Hard Knocks, and I thought that the 4-point spread was because of Hard Knocks, because everybody likes the team that plays Hard Knocks. So I think what Vegas did is they thought to themselves, listen, this probably should be a 6-7 point spread. We'll make it a 4. And there was a lot of that game where I looked pretty dang smart. And then there was the end where I didn't look as smart as they lose. They only win by 3, but Eagles are an interesting team to me. I can really see a scenario where the Eagles kind of figure it out, and they're going to make some noise for a long time. But I also feel like Sirianni's going to screw up at the worst possible time too. Like that's just kind of the way I get the vibe I get from them. He doesn't seem to have the full grasp on what he's doing yet, but he's still a new head coach. And the Lions, I really want them to be good. I think the Lions are going to be the most exciting team to watch lose this year. I think they're going to be in so many great games. It's going to be so much fun, but at the end, they're still going to be like 4-13, something like that. Maybe 5 wins. And I hate to do that to our guy Monty, he's already like kind of resigned himself to this not being a great year for him as the Lions fan. Quote, I don't believe the Detroit Lions could have stopped the Columbus Lions on 3rd down, but the Lions-Eagles game was fun to watch. First of all, a lot of our guys aren't here right now, so that's kind of like, now you're just being mean. And I'll let Coach McKinney know what you said, and then we'll see. He'll be ready to go.
I know I've asked you this before, but I want to do it again. I might ask you this 3 or 4 more times during the NFL season. Is Jalen Hurts good?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think we know that Jalen Hurts is basically a physically superior black version of Nick Saban. They say the same things, they act the same way. They don't. I think if either one of them smiled and it wasn't paid for by Aflac, their heads would explode. Like he has that Saban mindset, and I think it will push him towards goodness. I'm not going to say greatness, but I think it'll push him towards goodness. But it's going to come down to that coaching, because he wants it so bad, and physically speaking, he can do anything any other quarterback can do, maybe more.
I feel like you and I have hosted before, because that's like the third time in the back of my mind. I'm like, I'm going to go with the Saban comparison here when we go to this New England conversation. And sure enough, you hit the Saban comparison, because the best thing for Hurts to do is to do what his former teammate did, Tua Tagovailoa, and the Miami Dolphins did in the victory over the New England Patriots 20-7. Look, people have trashed Tua this past spring, not even summer, spring, about the Twitter videos of him throwing to Hill down deep. Tua, just a couple drop-offs, like an older version of Eli Manning with Odell, what a Hurts should be doing with A.J. Brown and some speedsters. Hey, if that's what Tua has to do, hope Tyreek Hill beats somebody one-on-one. Jalen Waddle did it. That's how Miami wins, just like that. Solid defense, blitz. Don't let Tua do too much and get out of there with victories. That was a really good win for Miami over New England. And they played great against them for 10 years plus, even when Belichick had a better roster. It's a really good win for Miami.
That was a weird one, because the Belichick record versus rookie head coach is 25-4 or something like that. Yeah. So now it's 25-5 or something of that nature. It's really, really lopsided. And Tua look Brady-esque, like the young Brady, the one that, not the one we know now, not Tommy Terrific who can throw you into a Super Bowl. The Tom Brady who kept the clock moving with high percentage short passes, who dinked and dunked but always put the ball where it needed to be, got his team in a position to score but didn't make a lot of mistakes. Like, he had that going on in this game, and it was kind of, even though I picked New England and I thought for sure New England would win this game, and it wasn't like a domination in my opinion, it was kind of fun to watch another team, New England. Like, it was just because that's what they did. They played keep away. They got the ball into their guys' hands. Tyreek Hill 8 catches, Jalen Waddle and Chase Edmonds 4 each, Cedric Wilson 2, and then 1 catch each for Raheem Mostert, Durham Smythe, Trent Sheffield, my boy Alec Ingold, Mike Gesicki, like, just moving the ball around and keeping it in your guys' hands. It wasn't my favorite, action-wise to watch, but it was fun to watch someone patriot the Patriots.
Later on this week, when we start talking about week 2, and we'll have maybe a quick glimpse of week 2, and later in the week, Miami plays Baltimore, battle of 1-0 teams. New England plays Pittsburgh. More important matchups for those teams. Very interesting. We're going to find out quick about how much of an impact that week 1 was compared to week 2, and how those teams are going to play going forward. So New England cannot get a victory in week 1. Miami gets it. The next game we have, how about Jacksonville and Washington? Oh my God. Another one that was all over the place.
I loved Jacksonville going into this game, because I really, really, really think the Commanders are poopy. Trevor Lawrence has early in the game, ATN gets open in the flat and then streams up the field. I mean, there's no, if you cut the field in the threes, right at the hash marks, the third that ATN was running down, there was no one there. Like, he was so alone, and Lawrence just overthrew him just a tip, and it felt like right then and there I lost all faith in Sunshine. I really did. I felt like Sunshine let me down at that moment, because I have ATN in 3 fantasy football leagues. But it was just one of those things, like, you forget that rookie year of Lawrence kind of got thrown away by Urban Meyer being a knucklehead, because he looked like a rookie a lot out there. But you see glimpses. I still feel like Jacksonville's got something to offer, but the Commanders, I think, are doo-doo. I don't even care if they won.
I don't like anything about Washington. I don't like the quarterback. I don't like the fantasy stats-wise of the receivers. And running back Terry McLaurin's a great player, but he gets a little overrated when it comes to stats. He played fine, played really good probably. The defense could get better. They're dealing with some injuries. I looked at Jacksonville and thought, man, they're going to be better in week 2 than they were in week 1. Like Doug Peterson, even though they lost that game, they get Indianapolis in week 2. I'm starting to become more of a believer in Jacksonville like you were preseason of the pieces are there. Lawrence, Robinson, Peterson, like the Walker, the number 1 pick out of Georgia had a big play in that game. They're there. Like that's a team that's going to get better. If that's the worst Jacksonville plays, we're going to be talking about them in late December is like a weird scenario that can find themselves in the playoff mix. Cleveland, Carolina, it's the Browns spoiling Baker Mayfield's comeback bid, 26-24 winners. A rookie kicker knocks it down for Cleveland to give Browns their first win of the season.
Baker. I had this one as I had this as a lock too. I lost this one. Baker. You had, this is, come on. You talked. You had shirts made. You can't have a shirt made and lose. Like that's like you should have to walk away from all of all sports. Like he should have to just go, you know what, guys, thanks for everything, and leave. There should
Retire?
be just done. He should have him and Johnny Manziel should have to shoot a buddy film, Men in Black 75 or something, because you can't make shirts about beating your old team's ass and then lose. You just can't. You can't do it.
He needed to play better in the first half. He had to come from behind victory bid. It was there under 2 minutes. It did everything he needed. His teammates couldn't get the stop at the end.
Said he came up short.
It's too easy.
Think about this though, but seriously, think about this real quick, right? Think about what you said. Didn't start well enough. Really came after it for a bit, then fell off. Are you talking about the game or his entire career in Cleveland?
Yeah,
it's who he is, and he's always played the best. He's always played the best when he has something to prove, and that's why and maybe he's starting to believe that himself, and just thought the magic would happen when the lights turned on. But it was pretty sad. It was I was upset by that. So 1-1 with my locks, even though we didn't put them in time.
What's sadder, that finish or a tie? And that the leader right now in the AFC South, even though 2 teams played each other, is at 0-1. That's the Colts and Texans finishing at 20 apiece.
The only reason that's sad is the fact that the Texans had this game. Like they had it. The Texans outplayed the Colts for the majority of the game. 3/4 of it added up. Like they outplayed them. So that made me sad because I picked the Texans to win outright, but I picked them plus the points on our show. So I won. Maybe they didn't. Or as my good friend Mike Core likes to say, I'm good. They're screwed. He doesn't say it exactly like that, but I think if you're the Colts, you've got to be severely disappointed. You've got to feel like that's a loss. You've got to feel like you got to go back to the drawing board. I think you have to feel like you have to go back to the drawing board. If you're the Texans, I think you feel great. No one thought you could win this game except for some fat guy who's currently in Georgia, but at the time was sitting in a Hooters, rocking back ghost pepper wings and giant mugs of Miller Lite. So, I think if you're Houston, if you're Lovie Smith, you look around and go, yeah, I know that Goz wants me fired. I know that. But I think we can rest our hats on the fact that we took a team to task and we can get better, and we have some of the pieces in place that people didn't know we had.
For those who don't follow me on social media, Levack is absolutely right. Immediately following the game, I tweeted out, fire Lovie Smith. That's right. I was the irrational NFL fan who decided to go to social media after one game and demand the new coach be fired after one game. Levack should be fired on the spot and never allowed in the NFL again. What the hell's happening? It's a 20-20 game. The ball's at midfield at 4th down. You're at home and you're punting. Oh, my God. And then you blow a 20-7 lead. Credit to the Texans fans, by the way. I forget how much of a following they have. I know Houston's a massive city and people love football in Texas, but credit to them. Huge following. Awesome. Fire Lovie Smith. Give Rex Burkhead the ball.
How dare you? Screw Rex Burkhead. Seriously. Come on. Look, everyone thought you were going to lose. You didn't lose. Yeah, that's a step in the right direction. In my humble opinion, step in the right direction.
Next one, we got Green Bay, Minnesota. This one was putting me in knots. How about the Minnesota wide receivers putting the Green Bay Packers secondary in knots? 23-7 victory for Skull up in the Big North.
This twice this week we get to say the same thing. They are who we thought they were. The Bills are who we thought they were, and I think the Vikings are who we thought they were. And Aaron Rodgers is who he thought he was. He's a petulant, spoiled child who is showing his true colors more and more every day. And he's going to lose that team. Aaron Rodgers is 100% losing this team. And I know he's going to spell relax or whatever. The way he handles himself, he could very well go out and just, play lights out and win a bunch of games in a row. But there's no way, besides the fact that he's a talented player, no one's going, oh, I really want to play with him. I think you're seeing right now why Devontae Adams is like, wait, I'll go play with Carr, who is not a child, who is good to me, who's my friend, who I believe in, and I'll get away from this megalomaniac, egotistical D-bag, and I'll be good to go. If I'm so torn for next week, because on one hand, I want to see Aaron Rodgers' meltdown continue, but on the other hand, I cannot root for the happiness of John Danielle, so I can't root for the Bears.
We call the Minnesota Vikings the barn money team of the NFL. Everyone held the pick close to their chest till September and say, no, everybody loved Minnesota and they played really good. Justin Jefferson, I know it's week one, but seriously, he is going to be in the conversation when it's all said and done. If this pace continues, is one of the great wide receivers of a generation. That's what Justin Jefferson can be. They're really good. Love the point about Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers, I hope people remember this. Remember like the late end of Kobe Bryant's career where he was playing with like Swaggy P and he was playing with like D'Angelo Russell, and he was just like 15 years older than everybody else on the roster. And they like Kobe hated his teammates.
Yeah,
that is what you just said about Aaron Rodgers. It's true. Christian Watson, the wide receiver from North Dakota State, played terrible. And you could see Rodgers wasn't like going over and like, that's okay, Rook. You'll get the off. Why don't I have better play? Like it was just the on-field antics of Rodgers are just as annoying. And like, look, the McAfee thing was cool last year where you'd get like the inside. I saw some of the views this week, and McAfee puts up huge numbers. It seems like a lot of people like don't care about the Rodgers stuff anymore. Like people are over him too nationally.
I just don't understand. I'm on hotel free Wi-Fi and it's better than your Wi-Fi. I don't understand how that happens.
I don't know what happens during the show either, that it just stops.
Chiefs
Cardinals.
Are you like what kind of like are you on like Fios, or are you on like regular, like who's your provider?
Wonderful people at Verizon or Spectrum. I don't know. Spectrum,
I bet you don't even know. Because I wonder if you're pulled, because this time of day everybody's getting home. I wonder if you're just in a really terrible neighborhood as far as you probably should find out who your provider is and call them. Jay Larkin, I think, nailed it. I think you have dial-up. Like you need to call them and be like, listen, every day around 5:30, my internet turns into robot time, and I need that fixed. Levack is in Columbus, Georgia, in the murder suite, staring at Sun's Chevrolet, and he's got better Wi-Fi than me. It doesn't make any sense. Someone help me.
I will do that. How about Chiefs Cardinals? I'll let you go first, just in case the Wi-Fi gets robotic on me again.
I nailed this one. I didn't make it a lock, but I think you saw a Chiefs team in an effort from Patrick Mahomes of, hey, you forgot about us. Like they pulled their Eminem and Dr. Dre, and you forgot about Dre, because they just went out and 44-21 is the score, but the game was not that close. Patrick Mahomes was 30 for 39, 360 yards in the air, and 5 freaking touchdowns. Like that's Travis Kelce, 8 grabs, 121 yards, a touchdown. Like that was in my opinion, that's the definition of you guys think we're not as good as the Chargers, the Raiders, the Broncos, and that a team like the Cardinals can hang with us and maybe even beat us. You out your damn mind, we're going to bitch slap them. And that's what they did.
Andy Reid pulled down Cliff Kingsbury's pants and spanked them right on national television.
And single moms everywhere passed out.
That's right. Pro Football Focus, knock it off. Patrick Mahomes is not the 9th best quarterback in week 1. Stop it. Shut down the whole ratings. Pro Football Focus. What analytics said he's the 9th best quarterback in the week 1. He threw 5 touchdowns.
Hold on a second. Who they rank ahead of him?
Oh, I gotta find it.
We have to
Give
do
me a
this
second here. I will find it.
because that's I mean, again, he threw for 360 yards, 5 touchdowns. His passer rating was 144.2. I
I'm
don't
sorry.
understand.
It wasn't ninth. It was eighth. Close. It was a point and a half above ninth. It was Josh Allen in this order.
I
Josh
guess
Allen,
Josh Allen I could go with.
Kirk Cousins,
No.
Tannehill, Herbert, Winston, Lamar, and Jalen Hurts.
Oh my, you know what that is? They're trolling. They're trolling. There's no other reason that you would put he was 1 or 2. He was 1 or 2. He was not there was
Eighth.
and even if you wanted to make him 2, it's a conversation to have because they both had great games, just had different kinds of great games. But like that's insane. I love the conversation that is going about your Wi-Fi now. Jay Larkin. But Goz is saving a ton of money. Tom McGrath. It's just Spectrum. Dot dot dot. And then finally Ryan McCarthy. Goz has the same Wi-Fi as the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio.
We've got 3 more here in our rapid reaction. Levack, I'm going to lead off with your favorite team. The Raiders unfortunately fall to the Chargers 24-19.
Raiders almost got me kicked out of the freaking hotel.
What?
I was so one of the other owners, Josh Blair, was nice enough to invite me over to his house for the 1:00 games. Beautiful house, great family, like really nice house. Like we're talking like a compound, basically. So I know who I'm borrowing money from. And then I looked at him at just before 4, and I go, I'm sorry, but I can't watch the Raiders here. And he went, why? I thought it was your team, whatever. He was like very, I'm like, because you are going to think less of me. You were going to think far less of me if you watched that game with me. So I got back here, and it started pretty good. And then as things went on and the Raiders just looked completely inept at points, I was just losing my ever-loving mind. And, yeah, there was like I was out in the hall to do something real quick, and the guy was coming down the hall, and he's like, hey, are you in that room right there? I'm like, yes, sir. And he goes, I need you to keep it down. And I was like, yes, you do. Sorry. Yep, makes sense. You're right. You're right. I apologize to whoever's mad at me, but you just saw it. Like you just saw it. Like it wasn't. And at no point did I feel like the Chargers were decidedly better than the Raiders, but I felt like the Raiders just played like poop. They just didn't. There was like in the second quarter, especially, the Raiders just kind of backed off, and Carr made some stupid decisions. But you can see why Adams is super important to this team. But again, there was never a point where I was like, oh, the flat out better team is going to win this game now because the Chargers are winning. It was just the Raiders they just didn't play. I'll turn my camera off because I'm so mad.
Zach is coming back. There you are. You got
everything now. They just, like I said, they never looked quite right after that. So it was frustrating. It was a frustrating loss. Seeing Khalil Mack sack Derek Carr broke my heart. Lot of problems with that game. A lot of sadness, and Brandon Staley's still a nerd.
Yep, you summed it up pretty well there. There's talent-wise, it's super close. A few plays should have gone better in the Raiders' favor. Execution, all that stuff. You can work on that. The Raiders still and the Chargers both look like playoff teams. Like that, even though your team doesn't get to win, that's a high-quality game between those teams. Really good teams. Herbert, Keenan Allen's a big injury, by the way. The status of him is still up in the air.
Isn't Keenan Allen always hurt?
Yeah, it's weird. He's either like always hurt, or when he is healthy, the most consistent player. It's either consistently hurt or consistently consistent. I know you.
And nobody talks about him when he's not hurt. So figure that out.
My team, the Buccaneers, winners on Sunday night. I told you my Bucs were going to get slaughtered.
Hey, guys, hold on. Jay Larkin needs to get another beer. Hold on. Just take it. You got 5. I'm going to give you a standing 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, go, guys. That's all I got. We gave him 5.
I thought my Bucs were going to get slaughtered.
No one ever asked me that before, so I had to do it.
That was good. I was very thrown off by it. Tampa beats Dallas 19-3. This, again, not about the winning team. It's about the losing team in this one, because Tampa, although they win and win by more than 2 touchdowns, they constantly settled for field goals. Tom Brady looked like whatever the word is that moves less than a statue was in the pocket.
He was rooted. He was a tree.
Yeah. Chris Godwin got hurt, and I don't know why. Hindsight's 2020 here, but did you have to rush him back for week 1 in that game? It's a hamstring injury to his lower body, so I don't know what his Leonard Fournette, I'm happy to report, not fat, though. That was the best takeaway. No longer fat.
Yeah.
So, look, Tampa wins, and it's more about Dallas because Dak Prescott's injured, and Dallas and Mike McCarthy are horrendous. I think you and I were texting about this one on Sunday night. You've called this from the moment he was hired. What the hell's Mike McCarthy been doing the last 3 months?
He's garbage.
Horrible.
It upsets me too because that I picked Dallas because of the old man Brady and because of partially because of Dak. And as I was saying it at Hooters, I kept thinking to myself, Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy got us. We got Mike McCarthy. At least I did. Congratulations. And now, if you're Jerry Jones, do you just pull the plug on that right now while you don't have Dak? It's like Cooper Rush and whoever. Like, it doesn't matter because it's now's the time to do it. Or do you lose a few games, let the fan base go absolutely insane? Because you don't give up your future to get Jimmy Garoppolo right now to fill in for 6 to 8 weeks, knowing that he's being coached by that turd with freaking eyebrows. Like, it's this.
It's funny you mention that. We had that conversation on our most recent weekend show because you had a healthy Dak Prescott and Dallas going deep, and they could have. But you looked at the talent on the roster and said they can win a Super Bowl. And I fell into the trap of 2-3 seasons previous believing in McCarthy. I didn't buy it. Yes. I would say yes to that question. I would get rid of McCarthy as soon as possible and figure out what Dallas can do in the future and get some young talent because you went with these stars and scrubs theory and it never worked. So, look, we're ripping McCarthy. We're ripping Lovie Smith. That may not be those two, the worst coaching decisions of week one. Yeah. And we closed it out with Monday Night Football, 17-16 winners, Seattle over Denver. And former Syracuse offensive coordinator, former Buffalo Bill offensive coordinator, good old Nathaniel Hackett Levack decided to run down 30 seconds off the clock at the end of the game. Then kicked a 64-yarder and then decided to call 2 timeouts during the kneeling session of the end of the game. Horrible. I thought something wrong with my television. I actually thought something was wrong with it. Like, does he not know the right down? What is happening? Denver fans should be pissed. I hope our friend Zach Bio out of 104.3 The Fan took post-game calls till 3 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time after that one.
So in the Empire office, we've got my guy Brendan, who's one of our ticket sales reps, and I enjoy Brendan. He's a good dude. He talks some smack. He'll get after you with some sports. For some reason, I thought he was a Dolphins fan for a while. Maybe he's a Broncos fan, and we'll get after it. And as I was leaving, of course, everybody takes shots at my Raiders when I'm leaving, whatever. And I looked over at him and I went, dude, I feel bad for you about the Broncos already. He's like, what do you mean you feel bad for me? Because everybody's doing the let's ride and everything. I'm like, you hired a coach simply because you thought he could get you Aaron Rodgers. He never got you Aaron Rodgers, so you traded for what's left of Dangerous. You traded for what's left of Russell Wilson, and I don't think there's that much left. So you got the head coach that means nothing to you and a quarterback that isn't quite what you hoped you had. And you're going to lose to Seattle because Pete Carroll knows Russell Wilson like the back of his hand. You're in trouble. And they're like, oh, you're stupid, whatever. No one's taking my calls. No one's taking my calls since Sunday.
Weird.
Or Monday night, I should say, since last night, I should say. I'm sorry. No one's taking my calls since Sunday either for different reasons. But, like, it's just one of those ones where it's like every once in a while, you see things clearly. And I see it very clearly. Denver's in some serious trouble this year.
When it comes to looking ahead to week 2, we'll hold off on that for now. How about? Well, we'll save that for our show later in the week. We'll save our picks and all that stuff for later on.
I'll think about it. I'll see what I can do. I'm very busy. Very busy.
I'm watching in the top left corner of my screen, my Wi-Fi cutting in and out.
Oh,
but
it's terrible. It got really bad. Is Rex like using it all for like bubble guppies or something?
Nobody's even awake in our house, which is even sadder about it.
Oh, even the Wi-Fi is sleeping, which is pretty interesting.
Well, hopefully it'll come back when I'm talking about Lily and David Fine Jewelers, located Route 50. The shops of Wilton. Lily and David Fine Jewelers can help you find exactly what she's looking for this fall. I'm going to a wedding this week. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Shannon. I'm officiating their wedding. Lily and David Fine Jewelers will hopefully help them like they did for people in the capital region in upstate New York. Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Shout out to Alyssa. Shout out to David. Everybody there who's making sure that they are taking care of you throughout the season. In the fall, engagement rings, wedding bands, and more. I'm going to be there next Friday, stopping in. Maybe I'll buy something nice for my wife, and maybe they'll help me with my Wi-Fi as well. Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Shout out to Alyssa, David, and Tammy, everybody over there. Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Stop in. Tell me about Goz's story. Does that work on the Wi-Fi right there, that wedding band?
There it is.
Wilton, New York. I'll talk about some college football. Go ahead.
I just saw a news post that we hired Christopher McKinney as our head coach for the Columbus Lions. And Chris has never gone by Christopher in his life. It is his name, but while I was making sure I had all the facts right about all the things he had done as a coach, I kept seeing Christian McKinney, which is his nephew who plays college football at this point. So when I introduced Chris, I go, "You're the new head coach of your Columbus Lions, Christopher McKinney." And I saw everybody kind of like Chris, and like everybody look at me and go, "Like Christopher?" I'm like, "Hey, C-Mac, get up here." I'm like, and then like they've been joking about it, but now the news is 100% calling him Christopher McKinney. So I am going to be in big trouble with C-Mac. It is going to be a thing.
Yeah. What's your biggest takeaway from the college football world this past weekend? Is it your Michigan Wolverines not covering against Hawaii? Is it me screaming as Texas back far fewer than I thought? Is it Syracuse potentially lining up for a 3-4-0? UAlbany unfortunately losing the home opener. What's the biggest, maybe 2 or 3 standouts for you from the college football weekend?
Bama's undisciplined. Alabama is undisciplined, and that's weird to see. All of 16 penalties through like 3 quarters into the fourth quarter, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then doing the horns down after you steal a victory, after you squeak one out of there, to the point where Nick Saban has to like run out in the field and say, "Cut that ass out." To see Bama be this undisciplined, I think I've never personally seen it under the Saban era. So that stood out to me a lot. Texas was impressive. They were impressive. Michigan, yeah, sure. I would have loved if they could have given them, a couple more points. And, I didn't, where I am, it was almost impossible to get any updates on the UAlbany game. So I can't speak to it. I know they came up short, but, that stinks, but whatever. And as far as Cuse goes, I almost feel as bad about your happiness as I do John Danielle's. But, what's this? What do you got here? What is it?
Look at this hot off the press Sean Tucker shirt right here, huh? How about it?
Why does he wear 44?
How dare you? I'll start with Alabama too. I believe you and I were texting about this early on Saturday too. 15 penalties by the third quarter. You and I watched the legendary Raider Buccaneer game about 4 or 5 years ago, where the Raiders at that point set an NFL record for most penalties in a game, and Alabama almost beat it in college, which is just remarkable to think about. And Will Anderson, who could be the number 1 pick in April's NFL draft, jumped off sides 3 times on defense. Just watch the ball. Yeah, offense, it might be like a snapper. Defense, 3 times, 1 guy. Remarkable. But Quinn Ewers, who was the highest touted quarterback prospect since Vince Young coming out of high school, Mullet Boy was really good. But now I wonder if he's going to transfer, because if he plays less than 4 games, he can go to another school, and Arch Manning's coming there next fall. So he might be out anyways. Georgia should be the number 1 team in the country. I have not done my top 25 poll yet, but GozillaMedia.com. Later today, I'll have my new top 25 out. I had Georgia already as the number 1 team. They should be there. Any other standouts? Oh, the upsets. As much as I'm pumped with Syracuse, they get Purdue at the Carrier Dome this upcoming Saturday. That's all about the upsets. Texas A&M goes down to App State, who's now got College Game Day. They're losers in that one. The Sun Belt dominating over Nebraska, lost to Georgia Southern. They go down in that matchup. The upsets of what really owned college football this past weekend.
I only made money on Georgia Southern because Sean Holland, who's one of my new people here in the office in Columbus, went to Georgia Southern. So I was like, screw it, I'll do that. And then won. Nice. So he goes, "Hey, do I get some of that?" I go, "Go sell something. Leave me alone. What do you want from me? Go away." The
Notre Dame, by the way, lost as well. I can't forget about Notre Dame lost to Marshall.
I didn't expect that at all. Texas A&M losing was doubly annoying. I thought they would be a Final Four type team. Corey from Greenwich, there goes your A&M pick. Like instantly. Like the kid just sits and waits on Facebook Messenger to say stupid things to me about teams. Like he hasn't made a pick. He didn't give us a Final Four, and he's talking schmack. Like he's You visited him at the festival?
No, I didn't. He has
Oh, he's
sarcastic
sarcasm?
emoji faces. And for the audio audience, thanks,
Oh, I
Ghazi,
didn't
for
see it.
visiting at the festival. Corey, I was on a bachelor party. Then you did the
Corey,
wedding, the bachelor
you
party. Come
take
on,
a hint.
Corey.
We're afraid of you. You
I'll,
thanks for calling Dorian Mel so much.
I like how Corey's face now pops up on our visual side. You can see what Corey Greenwich looks like now.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank God he's got his beautiful fiance in there, so it's not completely disturbing.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what?
these texts,
You mentioned Texas A&M. Oh, don't worry. You guys already extended Jimbo Fisher till 2031 a year ago. And oh, you're paying him $95 million guaranteed to go 9-3 every season. Great. Cool.
Syracuse wins 2 games, and you're just tough talking to everybody now.
And Notre Dame stinks too. You hear me? They're 0-3. First time
would
ever a
take
coach.
either of those coaches right now. Even with you guys being 2-0, you'd take either of those coaches over your boy right now.
Yeah, I would. That's
Yeah, exactly. Like I think Jay Larkin wants a bet.
He wants a bet.
I feel like he wants a bet. He's throwing a little boiler up on here. I feel like there's a beer wager on the table or something here. I think so.
I feel awful right now because my sister-in-law is locked out of the house, and I don't think she has a key.
Do you want to?
So I'm going to get up. I'm going to move the camera right now. Hang on, we're going to watch this happen.
I'll fill this. Are you going to bring the camera with you?
Right there. There she is.
Okay. His sister-in-laws are smoking hot, so this is good for everyone. See what this looks like here. Let's see here. Here's wave. She's in the light. Hey, come in here. Come in here. Oh, don't go over there. Everybody said just heard how hot you were, and you're leaving. Oh, which flower?
So yes, I'll be ready for a bet. I think Purdue is known for their upsets. It's a pick 'em right now. That was Vivian right there.
That was Vivian, and she doesn't come say hi. She doesn't call. She doesn't write. Is she the one that called me Labatt at your wedding?
Yes, that's the one who started it.
All right. So 2 4-packs of choice on the wager between you and Larkin.
All right. Well,
are we using the spread? Or are we just going straight up?
I'll hit him with a DM after the show to figure out some details of his life. Yeah. No.
Goz is never going to go through on this bet ever.
I've gone full Stu Gotts on Jay Larkin is what you're telling me now.
You've just become a terrible wagerer.
What do you mean? What?
We had a competition for the horse races with Boston Dan. You just never bet. I don't think you bet once all Saratoga season. And then even for football, like we got one going. Where are you standing right now? We all started with $100 in our DraftKings accounts. Where are you?
I haven't bet very often. Is what you're asking.
I lost. I got my butt kicked this week, and I'm down to like 140, like 139 and change.
I'm at $3.60. Not much different from what it was last week. It was $3.90.
So you're 103. So you're up. You're such a lame nerd.
It's hard running a business, Levack. I'm putting a lot of my spendable income into Godzilla Media. It's hard to have this.
This is money spent towards the show, towards the only good show on Godzilla Media. Until Jay and I start talking beer on one of these damn things. But like this is it. This is what you have, and you're wimping out. Like, I think if you don't wager a certain amount during the season, like if a certain amount of money doesn't go through your accounts, you should have to do an entire live show wearing pink panties.
No.
Pink panties, the entire show. Just being like, I'm going Neanderthal. You're such a girl. You're wearing pink panties during the show, and that's it. Because you make these wagers and you don't back them up.
I liked it when I used to get my wagers paid for by sponsors. That's my goals. Great people at DraftKings and others to pay for my expendable income.
I'm sure Lillian David sent you a fanny pack. I'm sure Alyssa will send you some nice pink panties.
No. Money to wager with. And tell my wife, yeah, Godzilla Media is doing great, but Levack said it was best for the business if I hit the 16 parlay real quick.
We just got to bet a little. I mean, $20-$30 a week at least. I mean, come on. It's responsible. You can bet responsibly without being a wuss.
I want to so badly.
Why? Like, what do you?
I've got a lot. I got a lot of action this season. We got a lot of action going on.
As far as we tell, you had action once. And that's why your new child's on the way. I mean,
now.
Rex doesn't count towards this season. How many fantasy leagues are you in?
5.
How many of them are paid leagues?
5.
You lie, because the Godzilla League isn't paid. It's free money.
Oh, well, okay, 4.
You're so lying. You're a
No,
liar.
it's 4.
You are a liar. Your pink panties are on fire.
I'm in 4 paid leagues.
All right. I don't believe you.
I'm in 4 paid leagues. And then I have 1 survivor pool that I'm already out of. I have another pick rule that I'm already out of. Well, I finished in last place in that one. And then I have another pick league that I'm in 7 money leagues. 6.
Do we know
6
what
money leagues?
Do we know what the name of Rex's little brother is going to be yet? Do we have an idea?
What do you mean we? I know. My wife knows. You do not know. This is we stuff.
Like, well,
is there somebody else there?
Why aren't we saying it?
I just imagine like when you said that, like next time we go to like what's the doctor called where they rub the gel in the belly? What's that called? What's that thing called? Optometrist. Next time we go to the optometrist, you're not going to be there. So it's not a we thing.
Isn't that the eye doctor?
I do have to go to the eye doctor. That's not what it's called.
Yeah, you're going to end up with a gynecologist for your eyes.
No, gynecologist, that's not it either.
Oh, it's, no.
What is it? No. That's not a gyno. No, what's the baby doctor called? What's the baby doctor called? Where we go?
When you get this
sonogram. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not
that time I actually looked off and actually somebody was there, Levack. I've been looking off and thanking people for years.
Her.
Okay.
The procedure's the sonogram. It's not the doctor.
Baby doctor.
That's fine. I'm just so what's his name gonna be?
I will try to spend more money on my sports wagering. I've been very conservative with my spending.
I don't want to stay with is it gonna be like Rex and Raptor Gozlowski?
Dinosaur theme.
Yeah, just stay with the dinosaur theme.
I mean,
I think
conservative.
Lion King. It should be Simba.
I'm being conservative with my spending because I think people can realize there was another entity where I thought I was going to have that money coming in more frequently from a certain business that has not rang my phone recently this fall. We'll put it like that.
They didn't talk to you when you worked there, though. What? Like maybe you should just keep going. The entire time you were at that place, CBS, you just did what you wanted to do and they left you alone. So maybe
it was awesome. I love CBS 6. Now, once they offer whatever the future is, I can start wagering more.
You can't put $100 in a DraftKings account.
I will once they call me back.
I don't
gotta use their money for good use.
How am I gonna believe you to keep? Everybody's supposed to put $100 in and then put it out.
I haven't got there yet.
I didn't even bet
season. I'm just putting like $20 in slowly and eventually add up to 100.
I didn't even bet UFC because I didn't want to screw with our numbers. Because it's also supposed to be football only. And you're out here putting in, returning models. Yeah. Ridiculous. Absurd.
Do we want to talk about the Yankees and Mets? Or you just want to wrap this and call it Q&A at the day?
Simba Gozlowski. That's what we want to talk about.
Stugatz Gozlowski Simba Sr.
Simba. Because I am the Lion King and I am his real father.
All right, before we get to Q&A at the end of the day, we're going to scrap the Yankees and Mets because this has gone long. Let's talk about Johnstone Supply in Troy, Levack.
I love the Johnstone Supply in Troy.
This is a way we can save some money this fall. If you're looking to add a new AC unit, furnaces, heating in your home, whatever it might be, Johnstone Supply in Troy can help you with that move to your home. Give them a call today, 518-272-5922, 518-272-5922. That's the number, Johnstone Supply in Troy. Johnstone Supply NY on Facebook. If you've got comments, you got some questions, they're great on social media as well. Give them a comment on there and they will help you with the process. Shout to George, man, with us since day one here on Gonzo Media. The best George, the whole crew over there, Johnstone Supply in Troy, helping people across upstate New York and the capital region. Johnstone Supply in Troy. Again, if you're looking to add to your home, it's Johnstone Supply in Troy. I'm not allowed to Johnstone.
No. Johnstone Supply for like men, like real men. Like you go into Johnstone Supply and all of a sudden you're just like, you're building a birdhouse. Like you don't even know how it happened. You just start building a birdhouse and it's like a 3-story, like comes with like 6 birds already. They're all thrilled to be in there. Like you walk a little farther in, next thing you know, you're reshingling your roof. You're just instant man. Like it just happens right. You're automatically transported to the tailgate of your truck. It's in your garage, and your neighbors are all gathered around drinking beer, talking about their newest lawnmower. Because Johnstone Supply is a man place. That's where you man up. And even lady men, like women who are just tougher than Goz, which is all of them. They go to Johnstone Supply. And next thing you know, they're out there. They're mowing the lawn. They roll their sleeves up. They can't even help it. Just, sleeves pop off. They're just because you go men go to Johnstone Supply. Goz ain't allowed in there. Guys who put $5 at a time in their DraftKings account don't get to go to John Stone Supply. It's a rule. You walk in and they're just like, whoa, buddy, pal, what are you doing here? You got the wrong place. You want the pink panty shop down the road. That's what you want. Beat it.
6th Avenue in Troy. I pray that the next time you stop at a Johnstone Supply in Troy, there's a sign, men only. And
Man
you
stuff.
know what we mean.
Man stuff. Here. That's right. Man stuff. Let's go. And then like there's just a picture of Goz's face, the circle and a line through it.
Line through it.
No Goz's. No. But Jordan, the wife, she's more man than the husband. She can come in. She'll buy a screwdriver set. Next thing you know, she's tightening up everything in the house. Because it just happens. You go like Tim, the tool man Taylor in there, start grunting and snorting. It's great.
$1 parlays. Get them out of here, guys. $5 minimums at least. Come on now.
Man. The only time you do a $1 parlay is if that's all that's left in your account. Responsibly, though.
I would say I've been using some $1 parlays. Nothing wrong with them.
Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with them. Your pink panties a little tighter than normal lately? When's your cotillion, by the way? When are we going to your cotillion?
Q&A to end the day. We lead off with Tom Grass here. Tommy said, Levack, great pick for head coach. Will still beat the Lions when you travel north, and the Jets still suck. Coming from a Jets fan. I thought we were catching a stray there from Tommy all of a sudden.
So I had a couple meetings today, and one of them was I established a rule a little while ago, and if you watch the press conference, you'll see C-Mac's already doing it. We don't say the A word anymore during Columbus business.
Ass.
No, we say ass. We do respectfully though. It's that team up north, and C-Mac did it during the press conference. Listen, we're coming, man. I will say, Coach Manas, a very nice call to C-Mac. There's like a mentor relationship there. It was very, very nice. He's texted me once, but he's not called me. So I'm coming for you, old man. Like, this is gonna be a thing. All right, coming for you. So. We will beat Albany. And you know what, Tom? Just because you said that, Mr. Gross, we're going to do it in Albany. That's what we're going to do.
I hope at one point they travel. You guys get Tom on the team bus and he can just like sit behind the sidelines and yell at Columbus. That's what I'd love to see happen.
Yeah. I don't know where, like, I'll probably be right next to Mike Corda during that game until we start winning. And then he won't be anywhere near me. Then he'll go up to the bougie owner suite. Us Columbus owners, we do it a little different down here, We can go to Johnstone Supply. We're up north.
Another big Empire fan, our guy Cam. Guys, great news. I got hired at Hooters. All right, Cam, under the orange roof, part of the team. Let's go.
I just don't know how he's going to look in those shorts. I just don't.
Right.
He was so mad at me that because that was during Monday Night Football that he started talking to Dan. And, he's going to be doing some dishwashing and cleaning and stuff. He's very excited for Cam. He's a good dude, and he deserves the opportunity, and I think he'll do great. And but I kept saying, you're going to look weird in those orange shorts. And he was getting so upset. Mike Corda says, no shot. Oh, you do exist. All right.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah, happy birthday yesterday, you old fart.
The big 2-9 for Mike Corda. Good for him.
It's all right. We listen, I'm telling you right now, the C-Mac and Levack era down here in Columbus hit the ground running today. I'm just saying, we're ready to go. We're going to be good. It's going to be a good time. Can't wait.
I'd just like to point out that as Mike sets his 2023 budget, I've been noticing he's been working out a little bit more. That's all I'll say. He looks like he's been, he also is very smart.
You do know that the person who hired you in Albany is in Columbus right now, right?
Like I said, Mike has been working out really well, and he's very smart. I know what I'm doing over here. Okay.
We'll see. All right. Thanks a lot. I didn't mean to hit that. There you go. Hit that.
I want to hit this.
Steve, I keep hitting the wrong one. I'll stop hitting things.
Hit Steve.
Which one? Oh, here we go.
Both of them.
Steve Adams. I will fund Goz Media $100, but minimum bet $20, and he has to wear pink panties.
All right. There's a lot to that. Steve, if you want to fund Godzilla Media, I'm on Venmo at Godzilla Media. So be more than happy to Venmo me $100 at Godzilla Media, and you can send that over. I don't know about this pink panty nonsense.
That's the deal. Steve is willing to he's making a contract with you that he will give you $100. You have to bet a minimum of $20 each bet, and you have to make the said wagers in pink panties.
No. All right. I will do it. No.
Listen, now you're too much of a wuss. What are you more afraid of? The pink panties or making a $20 bet?
The panties. Is this OnlyFans? We are not running an OnlyFans out here,
We
Steve
could,
Adams.
though.
That's
We
what this
could.
sounds like. Goz OnlyFans, where like you're sending me a monthly fee to put pictures on.
Who said
I will take your money though.
$100 fee. Toss on the pink panties, make $5 $20 bets, and be on your way. Come on.
No.
Oh, I need money. I have kids coming, but I'm too proud to wear pink panties. This is Mike. Mike's now with revisionist history. Mike Corda gonna whip that ass like we're back in school. Ha! Ha! Never. You never went to school. Everybody knows that. Steve Adams is up the gig. $500 for Goz OnlyFans pink panty betting.
Yeah, we'll do that now. I'm in for that. That's fine. I mean, $500. I mean, I'll do that. Obviously, I'm a man of morals, but I mean, $500 is $500.
What was the line? Was it 500, or if he had like laid up at like 250, would you be like,
no, we don't have to do this?
No, I'm saying, like,
500.
He's made the deal. It's we got to do OnlyFans pink panty betting. He's gonna give you $500. That's the deal. But now that we know this, like, I feel like you would have laid up at like $103. I don't feel like you needed to jump to 500, but it worked. So congratulations. What is Venmo?
How did that get up there? How did the Venmo get up there?
That's crazy.
And Godzilla Media. All right, I got a lot of people I got to get back to at this.
Steve is now the producer of the show. That's a great new segment. Goz's OnlyFans pink panty betting. You got to put like a $500 ticker on the screen, and it's got to be over pink panties.
You know what I like, Steve? You've actually got a great idea for Levack and I, because when Rex was born, we did a segment that I sold my car. So this was like the fall of 2019, where Levack and I did this thing like win Levack and Goz's cash, which then, of course, radio ruined because they kept running the same gimmick over and over and over again, and it wasn't good anymore. But originally, we had done something where like I'd sold my car in connection with Mohawk, blah, blah, blah. This idea leading up to the birth of baby number 2 of what is Goz's price can be a part of this show. I like this idea. Our old consultant.
You just want the money.
No. Look, am I turning into Stu Gatz? This is the second time. First, I'm backing out on our bets. I'm not calling people, and now I'm just taking the money.
Stu Gatz is far more manly than you are. Far more.
That. But
Rex, I'm sorry. I just heard Rex from the other room. Why do I have 2 mommies? I think that's what you just said.
On Twitch,
not in the full way.
Rick Scott, our old radio consultant, said this whole thing should be on Twitch because they can send you money. The people who watch your show on demand later on. I'm like, I don't think Twitch is the audience we want. Now here we are, September of 2022, negotiating Venmos and how much I would wager for pink panties and DraftKings.
That was before. That's before radio beat the standards and class out of us the rest of the way. I will point out the guy with the most money, Mike Corda, has not chimed in about paying you to wear pink panties. It's only Steve Adams. So Mike might chime in at some point and be like, I'll pay you to not put those videos online.
It's a bidding war. Happy birthday, Albany Empire broadcaster, Goz. And there's the picture right there. And it says former Albany Empire broadcaster, Goz.
I wonder, is the video of you in the full Hooters girl outfit still on the old radio station Facebook?
I don't know. Someone did mention that to me the other day, though, like out of the blue. Somebody I've never heard of before, like never interacted with the show, out of the blue left me a message about that.
Really?
What? Where the hell did that come from? Like 6 years later, like who are you?
There was a point during that show where I told you, okay, you paid the bet off, you can go change, and you're like, no, I'm good now. And guys did like a Sharon Stone Basic Instinct move, and I think I've been wrecked ever since. It's been a problem, but I've been ruined for women everywhere. The pink panty betting segment.
No, that's not what it was called. It was called "Would Goz Do This for the Child?" But
this is one of the first things you got to do. Steve has said, "Here we are."
Oh, there's a negotiation, Levack, huh?
Make Levack do it, and we will pay double, but blue like Columbus.
A stick, as they call it in the biz.
You'll see a stick, all right. I'm going to tell you right now that as team president, Emperor Levack would have jumped at this, but as an owner, as the Lion King, I'm going to need a little more than a G. I'm going to need a little more. I'm just saying. Emperors, they've got a price. Lion Kings, We have pride, baby. We have pride. I
Here,
can't do
buddy.
it. I can't. I got to turn down.
I will wear both panties for $1,500 then. That's a fine deal, Mike. I'll combine both offers. And
that's all you're wearing?
We can talk about that later on. You and I are back.
I call myself whatever. Is it Mike ex-team president? I'll call myself whatever I want down here, sir. Okay, all right. You just keep your happy ass up in Albany. All right. You don't know what it's like down here. All right.
We're back next Thursday or Friday. We will have another show at some point here, Levack.
I don't know if we will. I think I'm going to drive back to Albany, and Mike and I are going to finally hash out what his issues are with me.
My family is coming over here. They've heard a lot of pink panty talk, and now there's clearly concern coming over for my wife and child, and yep. And now there's packages. All right, I will talk to you at some point later this week. And Venmo at Godzilla Media if you'd like. You got any advice for us before we close up shop here?
Yeah. Break them pink panties out, guys. It's party time, baby. Let's go. Get out the red. Get out the pink panties. Goz is rich.